I want to talk. The final thing I want to talk about is the UFO search. We've all been following these UFOs. For one thing, that I love. I mean, if you don't know that we've shot down 3 UFOs in like last week, then I don't know where you've been. But uh, here's a fun idea of what if they're just here to speak to our leader, and we're gonna have to send Joe Biden out to speak to the extraterrestrials. If you can't have fun thinking about that possibility, have you ever seen Joe Biden get off of Air Force One? Dude, that first step is a national security situation. Like when he puts out the feeler foot, dude, that feeler foot is the least intimidating thing in the world. Do you have one?
I do. Did you actually see? I got one today of him landing in Poland. Did you see this one?
No, please. Oh, wait, play that back. You sure they didn't throw a duffel bag down there? Whoa, coming in hot. Shut up. No. Please tell me that's not the president of the United States.
You know
Dude,
when
we
like
don't
you
even
see
need.
those pictures of Hitler meeting with Stalin right before World War II and all that stuff. You don't remember
Yeah.
Hitler sliding down the banister?
He just Fonzied it.
Yeah, exactly. Woo!
Oh my God. You think the Polish people are making a bunch of like how many American presidents does it take to screw in a light bulb jokes?
Yes, absolutely.
That's great. But so I've been really interested in this story, and there's a media training that's happened over basically the last, what is it, 75 years, right, since Roswell happened, of the basically the kind of memification and the idea that anybody that believes in UFOs is a crackpot, right? Despite the fact that there was pretty substantial evidence that something fucking landed in Roswell, and all around the world, people started seeing these things at the same time, and they kind of seem to have corresponded with military installations and especially with nuclear sites. Um, but pull it, the thing that says crackpot, hit that, Bobby. So just watch this clip of the ease and alacrity with with this is just waved off by the press secretary. You got it?
About 10 seconds.
Okay.
What you
That
need.
yeah. Do, 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 do. 10
We
seconds
address this from the
American
White House.
or
I know there have been questions and concerns about this, but there is no indication of aliens or extraterrestrial activity with these recent takedowns. Again, there is no
that's it.
indication of aliens or terrestrial activity with.
Immediately laughing because it's so absurd. What they did say is that we have no idea what it is. We their sensors got affected by it when it came around, and I saw one report that actually said that it wasn't the radar, it was the timing, the like the clocks on their recording and shit got all fucked up when they came near it. And yeah, and they shot two $400,000 missiles at one of them. One of them missed, the best missiles in the world. A Sidewinder missile missed, and also the fact that they were able to even shoot the Sidewinder at it means that it had a heat signature, right? So I'd also like to know where that went, right? Like, is Like, I mean, that landed, right? It landed somewhere over, what was it, Lake Huron? So, I mean, that might be a fun little thing for a fisherman one of these days. But the they were originally saying that they couldn't find it because the one in the Yukon, it was too cold, and then the water was too choppy in Lake Huron. And then over the weekend, on an off news day, they release this article saying that the search is officially called off. It would just be too hard to find the unidentified aerial object shot down over Alaska and Lake Huron. Oh, okay. Like, I mean, I don't understand how they let it out that they were shooting these things down at all, right? Like, we know they can do things clandestinely. Why would they let out at all that that was happening if there's not going to be a follow up? I mean, they got the Chinese one that they shot down over the Atlantic. The Atlantic isn't smooth sailing, right?
Yeah.
This time of year, like, it's there's no way Lake Huron is rougher than the Atlantic Ocean. And
Hopefully,
there is I think it's either a naval or Coast Guard base on Lake Huron also, and there's divers, right? So, like, they didn't say like it's going to be a couple months. It was just can't get the fucker. The So the reason that this stuff is really intriguing to me is that um, I am a believer because my whole family has seen something that can't be explained. Uh, and I never talk about it because it's like, you sound like a crackpot,
you're a
right? Like
crackpot the minute you bring it up.
yeah, it's worked. And I was the last one in the family to see it, and I didn't believe them until I did. So it was August, and so it was probably like 16 years ago because it was right before I know it was before I got sober. And uh I came home from hanging out with my girlfriend over the weekend, and my dad is just like wild eyed. And my dad is, he's not sober, but he's like, I have a beer or two every few weeks kind of guy, church dude, super serious, never believed in aliens, never believed in UFOs, anything like that. No hippie bullshit, like fucking like he worked at UPS while Woodstock was happening, right? Like, he's a square, and he's wild-eyed, and he's like, I saw the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life this weekend. And it started on a Friday. So we lived on the Molucca River, and he's coming back from Galloway Township, taking the drive that goes along the river, and it's dusk, and he starts to see these lights. He's like, and they're just the most amazing lights I've ever seen. And I stopped, and some other guy stopped, and we're looking there. We're just watching these lights, and just can't get over these lights. What are these lights? And they keep moving along the river, and he's kind of like racing to the next spot, and they would go away, and then they come back again. And he watched them for as long as they could, and they went away. And then he gets home, and it's dark, and he's telling my mom and my sister about it, and they're like, yeah, okay, all right, sure, you saw something. Haven't You want to lay down? And they're having dinner, and and all of a sudden he's like, the lights. And they all go out. There's this deck that we have, and they're watching these things, and all of them are just like, so I see the rest of the family next, and they're like, I cannot explain it, but it was truly an unidentifiable flying object. Like, it's the only way I can describe this thing. And I'm the only fuck up in the family, right? So I'm like, yeah, okay, you guys, okay, have a good one. Like, I just came back from doing drugs, but I'm like, you guys are crazy. And don't think anything of it. And then like a month and a half goes by, and my mom yells from the kitchen, guys, the lights are back. And we all go out, and I see these things, Bobby, and they're over the river. It was like an amber, they went from amber to like very bright white. And the way that it started, there was one ball of light, right? And then it would, without any sound, but it went whoop, and there's three, and then whoop, and there's five, and then whoop, and there's seven, and then it would go like this, like in a pattern. It would move perfectly in a circle, go off, come back in, one light, and then like string out over what looked like a mile. And it was completely silent, and you couldn't make out the any kind of shape from it, right? And uh we called we called the press, but all these other people from our neighborhood are out there like looking at these things also. Called the press. They're like, yeah, we've heard a lot of reports of it, nothing ever in the paper. And it was right near Nafek, which is where they put it. It's actually part of the NORAD system in Pomona, New Jersey, which is where they put together planes that get shot down. So there's like there's an Air Force reserve base there, and there was like 15 military planes in the sky, all circling around that night. Because a passenger plane has a blinking light, right? And the military
Yeah.
is straight. Yeah, it's just
Solid.
a
Yeah.
steady light
Yeah.
circling constantly from like very high up. And these things were around for hours and then just whoop, just went away. And there's a lot of reports of it happening along the 95 corridor and always over bodies of water. Um, and there's actually I think it's an unexplained mysteries or unexplained on Netflix. One of the episodes on there is as close as you can possibly get to what I saw. That it was some guy that like he was a like a national weather satellite guy, and painted as a crackpot because he talked about what he saw on the radar, and there was other witnesses that saw the same thing, but nobody would ever believe them. But what I can say is that I'm Richie Redding, and that's really real.